Well, 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 ladies and gentlemen, I finally get to review the GhostCat electric e-bike. This model is the F2.2 Pro. This comes with a 1500 watt nominal motor in the back, which peaks at over 2000 watts. And the way it's doing that is with a 52 volt system, 20 amp hour battery, and right inside here is where you have your 40 amp controller. Most of these bikes never come with a controller that big, which puts this bike at 140 Newton meters of torque. That blows Super 73 and the Rev 1 right out of the water. Now let's start off this review by showing you guys how I look sitting on the bike. I'm 5'9", and I will say that the bike is gonna be perfect for short riders. But it's not gonna be very good for taller riders because the pedals do come up very high. There is an option on their website though to get the raised handlebars so it'll be more of an upright position, because these handlebars are like Sur-Ron bars and they go straight across. There is really no rise to them whatsoever, maybe like an inch if that, but they are very low. But without further ado, let me sit on it. You can see that when I first sit on it, I'm not putting any type of weight on it. My feet, I can still flat foot it and my knees are still slightly bent, but as soon as I put my weight on it, look how far the bike goes down, and now look at how my knees are bent. This is definitely lower than like a Talaria XXX or something like that, and I feel like that bike is pretty small already. This is definitely a pretty compact bike, even though over video and pictures it looks really big. It's actually not that big. Now let me show you guys how fast this motor moves and how this motor sounds. So here we go, pedal assist 5. Dang, that thing gets up there quick. 41 miles per hour, by the way, free spinning. But I gotta say, it is loud. And those brakes, man, they work really good. Well, no wonder they're using 203 millimeter rotors and they're 3 millimeters thick. And the hydraulic brakes they're using is XOD. This bike should definitely have some really good stopping power. Another reason why I think this bike will stop very quickly is because it only weighs 85 pounds. Very easy if you need to get up some stairs or whatnot. But keep in mind, most of the weight is in the rear of this bike. So let's pop off this battery. You got to turn it all the way to the left and then it should slide up and out of the way. The reason why I took this off is because I want to see what the specs say on here. Here's a closer look at the battery information if you guys want to screenshot that, and they are working on getting UL certified, so just keep that in mind that right now it is not, but down the road they should change that. And to put the battery back in, very simple, just get it on the rails, slide it down, and then lock it back into place. Here's a closer look at the charger that was included with the bike. I heard people that pre-order them right now are gonna be receiving a 3 amp charger instead of the 2 amp, which means that this bike will charge in about 5 to 7 hours from dead to full. Now, since my camera is conveniently over there in the corner, we might as well look at these lights on the bike. So to turn the lighting system on here, you only have 3 buttons on here. You just hold the up button for about 2 to 3 seconds and all the lights will pop on this bike. And I gotta say, looking at the headlight, it looks great. It looks like a nice cut-off projector style. You do have a little bit of scattered light around the edge, if you guys can see that, but it's really not that bad at all. You have a little bit of light on the bottom too, but that is perfectly a good looking headlight. And you can see when we move the bike back, it does get wider. It does look like it needs to be adjusted a little bit up for my riding, but we'll do a separate video on that. And then looking at the brake light, it is kind of hard to see because the seat actually goes over it. It's kind of tucked underneath the seat right here, but I can definitely tell when hitting the brake levers, that doesn't matter if it's the right or the left one, it gets brighter and works fantastic. So let's do a quick walk around of this bike. I used to do this in all my older videos just to kind of give you a close look at all the components. So that is your brake light. Keep in mind, I have one concern is if you do move your bike and you lift it up from the back, don't do that. Lift it up from the side because you could break this bracket back here. You would not want to do that. So I'm always used to picking my bikes up like this, but you can't do it on this bike. Also, I noticed that the seat feels kind of firm. I mean, it looks soft and it feels soft, but it doesn't really compress that much. So this bike is made for 400-pound riders, so that might make a lot of sense on why that seat is so stiff. But you do have nice suspension in here from D&M. It is the RCP-2S. This is the same suspension that's on a Sur-Ron, believe it or not. And you have that blue knob right there for adjustments. You can also do that locking collar for the spring itself. And then you do have this back here where you can adjust from slow to fast for your rebound. Now that suspension is attached to this rear swing arm that is almost identical to a Sur-Ron as well. So that's why I feel like this bike is gonna be so comfortable to ride off-road. The cool thing is you do get pegs on this bike and they do fold down. Now on this side of the swing arm, you have your nice motor disconnect right there. Makes it very easy to replace a flat and disconnect that. Here's your standard traditional pedals, nothing special about them, but they do work. Now one thing I wasn't happy about with this bike is the super long kickstand, and I actually had to extend it because this bike leans over way more than I would like for it to. The other con is that when you're backing this up and the chain automatically moves by itself, this comes in contact and it's already chipping this whole entire kickstand up here and down here where the pedals are at. So it's gonna start losing paint. But then that causes you to not be able to move the bike. And the only way to do it is you have to lift the bike up and kick this out of the way so you can clear that. Now moving on to the front of this bike, we do have suspension up front with that nice headlight I just showed you. Cable management is okay. I could have tried to tuck this wire behind this bracket back here, but I gotta say the cable management is a little messy. It would have been nice to see them kind of get all these wires together and kind of tighten it up. But I mean, you can do that yourself if you just want to DIY it. And then checking out this front fender, it's only a half back fender. It doesn't cover the front whatsoever. So your headlight and everything up front is gonna get really, really dirty. And this does flap around a little bit, so just keep that in mind that if you are off-roading, you want to keep this kind of high up when you bolt it up to the bike, because if it's too close to the tire, it's definitely going to make some noise. I do like that this logo on the battery, even though I'm not a big fan of this fake carbon fiber wrap they put on here, this is removable. So if I want to take the GhostCat logo off the battery, I can. Now moving on to the top right here, this is what you guys are going to see when you first sit on the bike. And I got to say, this is where I feel like they cheaped out a little bit on the bike. They have some type of metal and rubber grips on here. They do not feel comfortable whatsoever. They look like little missiles. Not a big fan of that whatsoever. And then of course the button layout right here, it's very simple, nothing like going on special about it. It's very basic. And when you do turn it on, this display doesn't really show any color. It's your typical cheap display. So it's not really fancy to look at. It gives you what you need to know. I do like the fact that when you do hit the menu button over here, you can see your trip, your miles, your voltage. Voltage is a big one to know. And then you have your current. So that's gonna show you the current coming out of the controller. And then this one, it does not work, unfortunately. And then it just goes back to the time the bike has been on. And then the odometer, which I took it for a mile just up and down the street just to kind of test it out, make sure it works. Battery bar, not a big fan of because it doesn't show percentage on here. So if you do want to see your actual battery and you know voltage, that's probably what I would keep it on 24/7. And then over here, I need to adjust these so they're kind of pointed to me a little bit, but this is your 7-speed by Shimano. We never have any issues with these. They're cheap, but they work, so not complaining about that. You have a horn right here. Decently loud, it's coming from the headlight, and then you have another missile looking grip on this side. The last thing I want to show you guys is if you do hit the up and down button, you can get into your P settings. I'm just gonna run through these settings so you guys know what mine are, so you can come back in the video and you guys can see how fast I got this bike and how much torque I got out of it, because you guys are gonna wanna change these settings. Now, let's see, 6 is the one I changed for the wheel diameter speed. Put it at 23 so it matches up with GPS. 8, you wanna put to 100. And then 9 was the same, 10 is the same, 11 is the same. Then I changed 12, I put that at 5, it starts at 3. And then everything else, I just kind of left alone. 14, I might have put to 25, and that's about it. So that's all you need to change, and that's all my settings. I'll run through them really, really quick again, just in case you missed it. And there you go. Now that you guys know everything you guys need to know about this bike, even though I know you guys are probably watching every single video review out there, now personally me, my honest review, first time riding this thing, let's go check it out and see if it's worth the money they're selling this thing for. All right, so I want to let you guys know that I do have my speed meter on here, just in case we have any discrepancies with the screen and the mileage on here. Our speed should be exactly the same as here, and I'll verify that as well. But just so you guys know, I want to see the mileage on here compared to real GPS. All right, guys, so we're on the GoPro, and right now I'm trying to see how fast this bike will go. And we do have a headwind coming our way, so right now it says we're doing 36 miles per hour. But then it also jumps down to like 33 and 28 and 29. I don't know what's going on this display right now. But either way, we know we're hauling ass, and I have been jamming this whole time. This bike is definitely fast. It feels like it just keeps going up and up in the RPM. The max that I've seen on here has been 36 point something. And I'm gonna check on my phone and see how fast we went. All right, so my phone, if you guys can see that, is saying 40 miles per hour is as fast as I went. And I think that was on the way back home because I had to go home really quick for a second because I didn't tighten something up on the thing. But when I came back, I only saw like 36 or 37 miles per hour max. But 40 miles an hour is definitely fast. There could be a little discrepancy on this as well, but this is definitely a 38 mile per hour e-bike. All right, you guys know what time it is. We are gonna try out the speed of this bike. You guys are gonna see it from 0 miles an hour, and we're gonna go all the way to the end of this runway, and we're gonna see if it's over 27 miles or not, because that's what my typical e-bikes are. If it's over 27, it's on the faster side of e-bikes, and we'll see how much faster it is. And then if it's under 27, it's on the slower end of e-bikes. But I can already tell you guys, I think we're gonna be in the 30s when we reach the end of this runway. So here we go. Throttle only, 1, 2, 3. This thing definitely has a lot of torque. 20 miles an hour already, man. This thing is jamming. The only thing I don't like is that battery bar going down. But look at that, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, we were about to hit 32, and then the speed meter just started going all over the place. I don't know what's going on with that. Next, I want to try up the pedals, and let's just get our pedal action on and see how these gears feel. So I'm going to start pedaling and go down in gear and then go back up in gear. So 1, 2, 3, let's go. Let's get down there. Okay, okay. All right, gears feel perfectly fine. No click-clacking around. Perfectly fine, but my knees, even at 5'9", they're coming up very high. Not very comfortable. It's definitely smashing my stomach into my belt. Not a big fan of that, but I can't believe how fast we're going just pedaling. That is nuts. Now I need to figure out where ghost pedaling's at. All right, let's see, let's see. No ghost pedaling, or oh, ghost pedaling is at like 14 or 15 miles an hour. That's nothing. What the heck? All right, so this is not a very good bike if you want to get a workout in or feel connected to the bike after 14 miles an hour. Yeah, you're not doing anything but just moving that sensor to just give you the power that you want. What's up?
How fast does that go?
38.
Hey, bro.
All right, so let's try out this hill test, and I want to see how fast it will go up this thing. We'll use throttle only, and then I'll use the pedals, and we'll just see which one does it better. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, throttle only. Oh, like nothing. We were doing 10 miles an hour coming up that thing. This thing has so much power, it's insane. All right, so let's try out the pedals. 1, 2, 3. They take a second to activate, but look at this. Oh. It was starting to pill out coming up that thing. Even if these off-road tires, man, it was just trying to get traction because it was just going. Now let's see if it makes it up this one. This is a very steep hill, and I'm actually kind of confident that it'll make it up this thing. So let's try 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. We were even picking up traction and speed. All right, let's try it right in the actual dirt. I'm not even gonna start in the street, and let's see if it makes it up this thing. And I'm gonna start a little bit over this way, which has more of a slant to it. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Oh my, how did it make it up that? How did it, whoa, how did it make it up that? This thing is trying to wheelie on me. This thing is badass. Wow. Never had a bike on the channel do that unless I modified it. Hands down, have not. All right, let's come up this. Oh, dang, it almost wanted to jump it. I felt it want to get air. Like, it just had the suspension that just like set down and just wanted to lift off of it. So if I was going faster, I could have definitely got some air off that thing. But this thing handles. What the heck, man? This thing is so comfortable. This is so, oh my God. No way. Woo. Oh, wow. This is amazing. I can't believe how good that felt. Let's go off up here, up here. Oh, dang. It tries to wheelie on you though. If you sit too far back and you hit it, it just wants to come up. Most of the weight is in the back of this e-bike and the front is very light. I noticed that. So it's definitely a wheelie machine, especially if you know what you're doing. Me personally, I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm too old for that. You guys see how fast I'm going through this stuff? Wow. It's like I'm on a cloud. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, that is amazing. That's amazing. One thing I noticed is that we finally lost our speed on here, so I can't see how fast we're going. I didn't even know when that happened. I was just focused on having so much fun that now the speed doesn't work. So now I don't even know how fast I'm going. I have my phone and I can put a phone mount up here, but what the heck happened? All right, so let's get on to the turning test, ladies and gentlemen. So we got some nice handlebars that are very, very low. These aren't street tires, but you can use them on the street and perfectly fine. Oh, wow. And this thing is definitely low to the ground. It feels and handles like a dream. No effort to turn this thing. Oh, let's jump it off the curb real quick. Woohoo! Oh yeah, this thing is nice. The only thing I'm noticing is that this has a delay in the throttle, and I'll get to that in a second, but it takes away from the funness of it. If it was like really quick and responsive, that would make up for a lot of stuff. Now I'm gonna have a problem with trying to do the speed test because I'm going as fast as I possibly can. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I smell straight up rubber. Okay, yeah, we ended up in the very bad section of electric bikes. But I was also hauling ass. I was probably doing like 35 or 36 miles per hour, and I just hit it, and you can see that it just wobbled all the way down the thing. And I wasn't trying to completely flatten these tires, because if you really slam on them, you could put a straight bald spot on them and they'll be gone, and then you'll feel it as you ride. So I didn't want to do that. I guess bringing that bag would have been nice, because I could have put my phone in it and I should have been able to see my mile per hour directly on here, because I don't have anything to go off of, and I always do the brake test at 28 miles an hour. So I'm just gonna kind of have to go off of how I feel 28 miles an hour is and just use that. So I feel like that's about like 27, 28 right there. Oh man, all right. So that seemed about the same speed as a 27, 28 mile e-bike, and you can see that is the line. If we stop at that line, our bag is a very good bike. I can tell you guys hands down, these are the best brakes I have felt on a regular style moped e-bike. Trust me. And I'm not talking about the Surons or the Solarias or the electric dirt bikes that you take off-roading. I'm talking about an actual road e-bike that you can bring on trails, and it has pedals and you won't get in trouble riding it. These are some of the best brakes ever. It stops so fast that I barely use like 20% of the brake, because I noticed when I went down my street and hit the first corner, I was starting to slide because I was locking up the brakes. I didn't even know I could do that. I've never been able to do that on any of my bikes unless I like slammed on them. You see that? See how crazy that is? Hey look, coming up curbs. Whee! I came out of my seat a little bit, but it is beyond comfortable. The seat is very firm, I can tell you guys that. But since it's made for someone 400 pounds or up to 400 pounds, I feel like they did a good job with the seat, because you're definitely gonna want that cushion there if you weigh a lot. Something I would never do on my e-bikes is go down some stairs, but with this one, I will. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I think what's rubbing is that front fender. Yep, that front fender has fallen down. There we go. How much do I think it will go up this? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. It wanted to climb it. I am not kidding. Oh, it was trying to go up that, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. Nope. Wow, this bike is something else. All right, so the next thing I'd like to show you guys is a throttle response and the pedal response. So here we go. And I've noticed a huge delay from this throttle, especially when you're on it and then you let off for a brief second. It takes a while for that power to come back in and you're like, come on, let's go, let's go. You want to just keep going as fast as possible. But here we go. Throttle, 1, 2, 3. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3. See right there, it was like a 1.5 second delay. 1, 2, 3. That felt like almost 2 second delay. So I wonder if it depends on the faster you're going, the more delay the throttle has. That's kind of how it feels, because when I'm going super slow, and I know you guys can't see the speed, I apologize, but it activates pretty quick. And then as I go faster like this, and let's say I let off, and I get back on it again, 1, 2, 3, there it goes and activates. As soon as I said 3, I stopped, and when I said it activated, that's how long it took. That was like 2 seconds. And next thing we gotta try is the pedal response. Let me make sure I hold on to the bikes. It does have a lot of torque. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. All right, not bad. So let's get some speed and let's see if there's a delay when we're going faster. So we stop, 1, 2, 3. Yep, the delay got worse the faster we went. So let's pause, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, same as the throttle. Dang, that truck was flying. All right, we're gonna do some more off-roading, only because this thing is made to go off-road. Yeah, baby. This gets a better score than the Rev 1 for sure. This is like a 9.7 out of 10. The only thing that would have made it better for my weight would have been a softer, cushy seat. But I get it. I understand why they went with the seat they did. But if it was softer on the seat, I would probably gave this bike a 10 out of 10. Some more off-road. Oh, ooh. Oh, yeah, this thing is badass. Can it come up stuff like this? Oh, I think it was, but I kind of hesitated and let off, and then there was a huge delay in the throttle, and then I didn't make it. I'm just more worried about falling off the bike than anything. All right, let's try it over here. Make sure I don't fall off the bike. Oh, it's definitely, it's soft, okay. That's probably why we weren't making it up, because this is so soft. Like, check this out, like. All right, but that was still definitely fun. Let's continue on this trail while I try not to wheelie. You definitely gotta sit close up. You sit really far in the back. If you got an extra passenger, you better be careful as well. Turn down the power, because you are definitely gonna wheelie. One thing hands down that you guys are gonna want are gloves. You should be wearing gloves regardless riding these bikes, but I didn't because I really wanted to feel how these grips were, and these grips suck. I would really replace them, or just wear some like nice beefy gloves and you won't have a problem. But yeah, I don't understand why they put these types of grips on here. They were probably just cheap. I'm gonna pull over here really quick and I'm gonna give you guys an update on the range and battery percentage. So as of right now, max speed has still been 40. I haven't changed that. 9.05 miles, so 9 miles flat. And our voltage is at 52.9. If you want to say that's 53, because as we sit here for like 5 minutes, it's gonna go up a little bit. So 53 volts to 9 miles, it's not that bad. There we go, now 53. And if you want to see our total time, well, actually, I reset this thing many times, but it says 13 miles, and I want to say our miles on the actual bike is 9. So that's not reading correctly at all. That's way off. I guess that's going to help the resale value when you go to sell it, and you're like, I only got 200 miles on it, when you really have like 600. But that is not accurate. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to hop over the curb. Let's go over this curb quick. Yeah. But someone left their clothes. This is just, oh, that little dip right there, nothing, just went right over it. This is like a dirt bike. Oh man, the people that get this bike are gonna absolutely love this thing. Fantastic. What a beautiful, beautiful day to just be out here and ride, especially on a fast e-bike. I always love fast e-bikes. Slow ones are fun if you're just, getting into it, but it's like a stereo system in your car. It sounds good when you first get it, it's loud, and then you just want it to go louder and louder and louder. And that's just how an e-bike is. So I think I'd be pretty content with this bike on how fast it went. And look at this, just goes all the way in a circle. I wonder when it dead ends. We're probably gonna find out real soon. Oh no, it's still going. It's definitely still going. I remember there were some big old hills right here that we would ride over. And wow, this is great. This is great. My turn, buddy, my turn. All right, let's make it through. This road's all jacked up. So cool to be out here on this bike. It's actually so worth the money. I think what I'm gonna do right now, guys, is I'm gonna get to the house. I'll let you guys know on the range I did to the voltage. Give me my final thoughts and if you guys should buy this bike or not, but I'm pretty sure you guys have a huge hunch on what I'm gonna say. All right, guys, I am back, and I gotta say, it is very hot out there. I didn't realize how hot it was until I finally got into the garage and I wasn't moving as fast as this bike will go. So it was definitely nice to have a fast bike and get that wind going through your helmet. But let's start off with the final conclusion of this bike, and I'm gonna put this out there. I feel like this is a baby Sur-Ron, and you can't really compare an electric dirt bike to a bike like this because this actually has pedals. You could take it on the road, you could be legal as long as you stay at the speed that's max in your area. Over here it's 28 miles an hour, but going off road with this thing, if you unlock it to do like 37, 38 miles an hour, this thing hauls ass. It is loud though. The motor is definitely loud. It has tons of torque. It has more torque than you're gonna ever need on an electric bike. You saw me going up those hills. Crazy. It just made it up that like no problem whatsoever. I feel like that's where the company put all the money into this bike was let's put a big motor on the back. Let's put a big battery on it with a 52 volt, 40 amp controller. Let's make it really comfortable and let's just sell it with like cheaper parts. So I feel like the frame is kind of on the cheaper end. You can kind of tell when you see it up close. The grips are really cheap. The display is really cheap. Obviously, I can't even see my mile per hour anymore because it just stopped working. So one of the sensors came disconnected or just failed. I don't know what happened. And then the button layout is kind of cheap too. The horn is cool, not too bad. The brakes are phenomenal. They spent a lot of good money on the brakes. You got 203 millimeter rotors on here. So I can tell where they put the money. The pedals are cheap, the cranks are cheap, the kickstand's cheap. Who really cares about that stuff, right? Because all we want to do is have a fast, comfortable e-bike, right? All I can really say towards the end of this video, and I'll get to the mileage in a second, is that it is actually worth it. I'm really excited to ride this thing again. I'm gonna go charge it right now so I can take it out for a night video, maybe tomorrow night or something like that. This thing is badass. I haven't had this fun on an electric bike in a while, other than when I get like the cool little sit-down scooters like the Roadrunner Pro, or we get something else like that that's just an adrenaline thing. This thing, I think a lot of you guys are gonna love. I give it the same score that I gave the Rev 1, which is a 9.5. There's a few minor things that you need to change. It doesn't feel as high quality as the Rev 1, and I'm talking about what you feel and what you touch up here. The brakes are definitely better, the power is definitely better, the battery's definitely better, the controller's better. But overall, I just feel like it's a good bike. You guys are gonna absolutely love it. And let me get into the range really quick. So if I pull up my phone, because for some reason it says we only did like 4 miles on this thing. It literally stopped recording everything. So something bad happened, I don't know. But we did 13.25 miles, so 13.25 miles. And our voltage that is showing on here is 50.5. I'll put the chart up here so you guys can see where it lands on our battery percentage, because there is no battery percentage. It just has an energy bar, and I hate that. But the voltage, having that on there is great. If it didn't have voltage, I would have been pissed at just having that energy bar up there. I hate those so bad. But great bike, guys. Links, everything will be down in the description. Highly recommend this one, especially if you just want to go fast and have a comfortable e-bike. And if you don't want it in this color, they have it in all black, or they have it in the red with the red rims, or they have it black with white and white rims. So if you want to do that, you can. I'll put the pictures up there so you guys can see that. But all right, I'll see you guys in the next one. I got to get this thing charged and figure out where the heck I'm gonna put it in my garage, because we're running out of room here. See you guys.